Well, within the last hour, members of the Church of England General Synod have blocked the ordination of women bishops. Bishops and clergy voted in favour of the change by large majorities, but the measure failed to reach the required two-thirds majority among lay members. The vote came at the end of an impassioned day-long debate and 20 years after the vote to approve the ordination of women priests. Our reporter Katie Razzle reports now from Church House.
It was carried in the House of Bishops and Clergy and lost in the House of Laity.
The moment the Church of England voted, to the shock of many, to kick the issue of women bishops out for a generation. It had needed a two-thirds majority of the three houses of the General Synod. Bishops and clergy gave that, the laity didn't.
The minority view represents a part of the Church of England that is most actively growing. So we need to take that seriously, and I think that's what the vote today has illustrated.
So you feel happy you held the Church to ransom?
I'm not happy, and I don't think I've personally held the Church to ransom.
This vote is a blow to the Archbishop of Canterbury and his successor. They both wanted a yes. And the secular world won't understand a decision that looks so out of step with modern society.
Morning.
The outgoing Archbishop of Canterbury arrived this morning hoping for a yes vote as his legacy. Outside Church House, those whose potential career paths would be most directly affected. Inside all day, they debated a subject many consider a straightforward case of discrimination. But those who feel women bishops are a theological impossibility don't care that it looks old-fashioned.
It's been suggested that if this measure fails today, the Church will be mocked and ridiculed throughout the land. I do not believe that this will be the case, but what does it matter if it is?
Equal does not mean the same. We're different. We have different roles.
For some, opposition stems from the words of the Bible. For others, it's about not wanting to break unity with the Catholic Church.
The apostles are men, and it's upon the apostles that the church is built. That's the biblical argument. But also, our bishops are derived, our orders in the Church of England are derived from the wider Catholic Church. And we have not taken into account what the Catholic Church thinks about this issue.
That's not how the next Archbishop of Canterbury sees it. Justin Welby wants to welcome women bishops into his Church of England. And this is only about England. Anglicans as far afield as Canada, New Zealand and Swaziland already have women bishops.
It would appear to me that we have been discussing this issue my entire life and waiting for this decision for 20 years.
They laughed, but they knew to the outside world a no vote would be deeply damaging.
As a church for the whole country, we will be seen to have failed to do what is right and honourable. A church with lower moral standards than the rest of society risks its right to comment on other issues.
House of Laity, 169 ayes, 82 noes.
20 years ago this month, the vote went differently. The Synod approved women priests for the first time, to the delight of many, though others defected to the Catholic Church. The Venerable Dr. Jane Hedges, now Archdeacon of Westminster Abbey no less, was tipped as bishop material. She was one of the first women to be ordained in 1994.
At that time, people were saying, oh, when will women be made bishops? And I think probably most of us were saying that stage, oh, I think that'll be beyond the time when we retire. So I think it was always a sort of an assumption that there would need to be quite a long settling in time, really.
That settling in time likely to be very long now. We met another of the crop of early women priests choosing pupils for a religious reading competition.
Shall no man living be justified?
My sadness is not because women won't be ordained bishops. My sadness is because the effect on the whole nature of the church, our mission in the country that we serve, and how we are understood. And that makes me feel very sad.
Tonight, the church and those who lead it are coming to terms with a decision that leaves them looking very different from the society they serve.
Katie Razzle reporting. Joining us now, the Conservative MP Tony Baldry, who speaks for the church in the House of Commons. Tony Baldry, how do you see this?
Well, I think it's going to be almost impossible for me to explain to parliamentary colleagues how it was that 42 out of 44 dioceses in England clearly and overwhelmingly voted for women bishops, and today General Synod, the House of Laity, has voted against women bishops. I feel very sad for Justin Welby, who I think is going to be an excellent new Archbishop of Canterbury, and I think he and Rowan Gwilliams gave the clearest possible steer to General Synod today. But I know Justin Welby is keen to get on with how does one grow the church, how does one make sure that the Church of England is a national church reaching to every part of the country. And I think the danger...
Well, the trouble surely is that it's now the antithesis of everything you've just said.
Exactly. Well, no, I think that is going to be the real frustration. I think that is going to be the real frustration that we are going... The Church of England is going to, again, look very inward-looking. And I think the danger is that it will become and look like just any other sect.
But it's so bizarre. It's the only church in the world that's got a woman at the very top. That's the Queen. And she's allowed to get there, but no other woman. And the other very big question is, why wait another 10 years to debate it? Why not just keep moving at it and just get it through?
Yeah, well, I think it can be debated again within the next 5 years. I'm quite sure that all of us who believe firmly in the need for women bishops will continue to press ahead as best we can on this measure. But I think it's just very sad today what has happened. And I think that, I think I'm going to find it extremely difficult in the House of Commons explaining today what has happened. Well, and I think it's sad for the Church of England, which should be a national church, that it looks as though it's just become the church of Anglo-Catholics and conservative evangelicals.
Can I ask you this? I mean, given that it won't have women at the moment, I mean, can it really hope to hang on to its constitutional position? Because, to be honest, if it were subject to the laws of equality, which it jolly well should be, but isn't, it would not be allowed to do this.
Yeah, I think the greatest risk for the Church of England is not disestablishment, whatever that means. I think the greatest risk to the Church of England is disinterest. And I think that I'm sure every member of the House of Bishops, Archbishop Rowan and Justin Welby, are very conscious of that. So I think we're all going to have to redouble our efforts to make sure that the Church of England can reach out. But it is incredibly frustrating that we're going to spend more time, yet again, being preoccupied by the internal workings of the Church of England rather than being focused on mission and growth.
Tony Baldry, thank you very much indeed for joining us from Westminster.